So, Rick Beato, you know him, he's one of the biggest music gurus on YouTube, and he basically just declared war on AI music, calling it a total creative disaster. But here's the crazy part. What if his own evidence, the stuff he used to make his case, actually proves the exact opposite? Today, we're going to break down the rebuttal to his argument, and we're going to use his own video to do it. I mean, look at the title of his video. It doesn't get much clearer than that, right? So his whole argument is that AI music is just empty, it's hollow, it's worthless. And he sets out to prove it by creating a totally fake artist and a couple of songs from scratch. And this is where it gets really, really interesting. Because in his big attempt to show everyone just how terrible AI music is, well, he might have accidentally shown us how incredible it can actually be. Okay, so let's dig into section 1. We're going to start with Beato's main point, that the music AI spits out is just, well, bad. Okay, so the AI generates this track, right? It's called West Texas Dreams. And Beato's first gut reaction, on camera for everyone to see, it wasn't discussed, it wasn't see, I told you so, nope. He literally says, now that's not that bad of a song. And boom, in that one single, totally candid moment, his whole argument just starts to fall apart. And it wasn't just a one-off. The AI then spits out a second version, a completely different take. And Beato himself, he's the one who says it has this kind of Smashing Pumpkins vibe. I mean, come on, that's versatility. It's the exact opposite of the generic cookie-cutter music he was expecting. All right, so the music itself was surprisingly good, but Beato had another big claim, right? He said he had no creative input whatsoever. And that brings us to section 2, the art of the prompt. So Beato really doubles down on this. He says, I had nothing to do with it. He's trying to paint himself as just a bystander, a passive observer. But if you actually look at what he did, a completely different picture emerges. He wasn't just typing random words into a box. He was directing the whole show. I mean, let's just break it down. First, he created a whole artist avatar. He defined the genre, the vibe. That's a huge conceptual choice. Second, he gave it lyrical direction, specific stuff like West Texas novelists. That's what a songwriter does. And third, he told it what kind of atmosphere he wanted, the vocal style, the mood. These aren't just technical commands. These are the choices a producer makes in the studio. And this all points to this new, emerging skill called prompt engineering. The whole idea here is that prompting an AI isn't just, typing a command like you're talking to a robot. It's a creative act. The way you guide the AI is part of the art. Okay, section 3. Let's get into what is probably the most heated, most controversial part of this whole AI debate, the idea that it's all just theft. Beato's core argument, his big ethical line in the sand, is this. He says AI isn't actually creating anything new. It's just looking at patterns from millions of other songs and, well, predicting what comes next. In his view, that's just stealing other people's ideas. But you gotta ask yourself, is human creativity really that different? I mean, seriously, think about it. The Beatles, they were heavily influenced by Chuck Berry's chord structures. Jazz musicians, the whole genre is built on quoting and reinterpreting musical standards. And rock guitarists, most of them are using the same handful of chord progressions that have been around for decades. Art has always been about building on what came before. And this is the really key distinction. It's about synthesis, not plagiarism. That song, West Texas Dreams, it's a new song. It didn't exist before. The AI isn't just copying and pasting a track. It's synthesizing all these different influences to create something original. And you know what? That sounds a lot like what human artists do. Okay, so if the music isn't actually that bad, and if prompting is a real creative process, then what's the real issue here? This final section suggests that maybe, just maybe, Beato is aiming his frustration at the wrong target. And here's the question that really reframes this entire debate. Is the problem the AI itself, or is it the platform the AI is on? Is the threat a new creative tool, or is it the broken economic system that we use to distribute music? Let's put this in context for a second. Whether a song is made by a human in $1 million studio, or by an AI in 30 seconds, Spotify pays out fractions of a cent per stream. The point is, the problem of musicians not getting paid enough, that's a platform problem. It was here long before AI music came along. Look, Beato is not wrong to be worried about Spotify playlists getting flooded with generic, soulless content. But the argument here is that these so-called fake artists are really just a symptom of Spotify's system. The platform's whole model is driven by playlists, and that rewards quantity over quality.
It's the system, not the tool, that creates this incentive to spam.
And this really gets to the core of the whole misunderstanding. Beato seems to be presenting this false choice. Either you're a real musician who bleeds for your art and learns an instrument, or you're a fake one who just lets an AI do everything. But the reality is so much more exciting than that. AI is becoming a collaborative partner, a tool that real musicians can use to sketch out ideas, build backing tracks, or even help with arrangements.
So, at the end of the day, it really boils down to two completely different ways of looking at the future. There's the old view, the one driven by fear, that sees AI as a replacement for human artists. But then there's the new view, the more forward-thinking one, that sees AI as just the next instrument. It's like the synthesizer in the 80s or the drum machine. It's something a whole new generation of artists is going to learn to master. So when you look at all of this, the argument isn't that Rick Beato is wrong to be concerned. He's absolutely right to care about the future of music. It's just that he might be focused on the wrong question. Trying to ban AI music is like trying to ban the electric guitar back in the 1950s. It's just not going to happen. The real conversation we need to be having isn't if artists will use this powerful new tool, but how. How are we going to build a future where it empowers them instead of exploiting them?